It's Wednesday night, which of course means I called up my friend Carl, and he was just giddy to chat fantasy football. So,
Absolutely.
like we always do, we got on our computers and video chatted like a couple of teenage girls.
What else would you expect?
Right. Carl, it's great to see you. Thank
Good to
you
see you too, Ben.
for taking the time to chit chat.
I'm pleased to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, um, I'm going to try and move some things around. We're going to see how this works out. Uh, we're going to talk about Big Mike's team. I'm not going to tell you where we have Big Mike's team ranked, though. Okay, we're gonna wait. We're going to try and do a surprise reveal at the end. Um, and as we talk about Big Mike's team, we'll see if people can kind of feel where we're going to rank him. So, um, and even to make things even more confusing, let's see. We've got the ESPN post draft rankings here. They've got him at 12th. If we go over to Fantasy Pros, they've got him at 6th. A considerably much rosier view than what ESPN gave us. Um, so yeah, let's take a look at the draft and let's kind of hash things out.
Let's do it.
Like we talked about last time, we'll run through the players. Instead of breaking down pick by pick, we're going to try and do loved and loathed because I feel like that kept us under 20 minutes. We were moving pretty good. So rounds 1 through 6, we went young. We went Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jonathan Brooks. Then we went Mark Andrews, the tight end, Justin Herbert, and Javonte Williams. So, liked and loved. Carl, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I'll jump in here first. I'll go with a pick I loved, even though I don't love the player because he's a fucking Raven. But I thought Mark Andrews was a great pick there. Believe he was the third tight end off the board. Real legitimate chance if he stays on the field all year that he could be the tight end one. He's Lamar Jackson's favorite target by a mile, by a wide margin. You snag him after the aging Travis Kelce and the young and talented, but we don't know yet whether it's going to be any consistency. Sam Laporta, Mark Andrews might be, again barring injury, might be the safest tight end in the league right now. So I really like that pick there.
100%. Really opening up the first 4 rounds here, I really liked all those picks. Jonathan Brooks, even it being a riskier pick, the fact that you're getting who will be an unquestioned starting running back on an offense that you would think is going to take some steps forward this year, I even thought that was good.
There's nowhere backwards for them to go. They have to go forwards.
Right, exactly. Loved, though, I think I loved getting Marvin Harrison as your second starting wide receiver there. That's a pretty baller move. Again, I think the arrows are pointing up in Arizona. Marvin Harrison actually makes that probably something of a legitimate offense now. So I thought that was a pretty damn good pick too.
I think that's probably a really good long-term move too.
Yeah. Those first 3 picks especially are just really solid. You want to talk about 3 guys that you would be happy to have for the next 4 years under contract? Yeah, right. That's right. That's awesome.
You got some pretty good bets right there. Who'd you hate, Ben?
Oh, I tell you, for as much as I loved the first 3 picks, the last 2 picks were just dog shit. Oh.
I don't hate the Herbert pick. I like the player. Problem with Herbert pick is everything around him, and also where he got picked relative to other quarterbacks. It was almost a full round before Lamar Jackson. Herbert's just going to be handing the ball off every fucking play because he's got no one to throw to.
I was going to say Herbert might be my least favorite. The setup for Justin Herbert this year is not good. The the Greg Roman offense, you know that they're going to hand the ball off 600 times. Herbert's got nothing but rookie wide receivers around him at this point. They've retooled the offensive line, so
Don't believe they have a tight end.
Yeah, they stone smart is what I could tell you. If you've ever heard of that human being before,
whatever the fuck that is that Parnham character that was like 7 feet tall? Is he still around, or is he gone?
He might still be around too. Yeah, but...
I mean, his claim to fame is being very tall. So
it's a good thing, if you could do it. So
yeah, I mean, doesn't necessarily make you much of a football player,
but yeah, as much goodwill as those first 4 picks had me feeling. The Herbert into Javonte Williams at the end just took all the wind right out of my sails.
Yeah, I don't love the Williams pick. I don't even like it. Where it is, I don't necessarily hate it.
Right.
Considering, again, just relative to where other running backs are going and whatnot. Like I get it. Javonte Williams he's another one of those guys that's been hyped for the past 4 years and hasn't done shit.
Well,
injury, partly it's not being any good at football, like whatever. Either way, I don't buy it.
For what it's worth, I've gotten a little bit more positive on the Williams pick. The camp buzz has been very positive. It sounds like
camp buzz has been positive for 4 years, Ben.
Well, see, he's like a full year and some change removed from like his ACL thing, so it sounds like he's maybe returned to some of that burst that they'd hoped he had in the past. So there's a little bit, the glass is maybe a quarter full now instead of
So maybe there's something.
There might be something, but yeah,
not
for
a big
me,
fan
Herbert
is don't love those 2 picks.
But all right,
moving on.
Let's keep moving on. We'll go to the middle rounds. Rounds 7 through 12, where, again, we had the controversial trade with, maybe it's not even controversial. It was just it was a hot trade.
It was weird. It was unexpected, but I don't know about controversial.
Right. So we went Roquan Smith. Then there was the trade for Ryan's 7th round pick for 30 fab bucks. That turned into Ernest Jones. So we had Roquan and Ernest Jones in the 7th. Nick Bosa in the 8th, then Derwin James, Tyjae Spears, Xavier Worthy, and Buda Baker to close it out at the end of the 12th.
So, go ahead.
Okay, well, let's. I think if I had to narrow it down, gosh, I want to say that I loved the trade. It feels like a steal, especially when you look at the completed roster. Like you put the whole picture together, you're like, wow, that really did some help.
Go
for it.
I was just gonna say getting Roquan Smith, Ernest Jones, and Nick Bosa in the course of 2 rounds, like that really set this defense on the right track.
It did.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've been I've pancake on this a little bit. If you're playing the waiver wire throughout the season, you can find a steal of a starting linebacker for $5, $10.
Yeah.
Is that being light $30 throughout the course of this season? Is that going to hurt more than help? Yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing that I kind of get hung up on.
Honestly, and we'll see how it plays out, but I think there's a real chance that doesn't hurt him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few guys that tend to burn through their entire budget, and probably at least 2/3 of the league ends up still having money left at the end of the year. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. The only time that missing that $30 is gonna hurt you is if there's someone, some scenario early in the season where someone goes down, you've got the obvious guy coming in behind him. McCaffrey blows out his knee and everyone's going after Elijah Mitchell type of scenario. Something like that. Otherwise, well, that or if he just wants to throw $60 at Kareem Hunt.
I don't think that would. Let's try and keep it realistic.
Yeah, right. Who would ever do that? But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. The trade was fun. Be interesting to see how it actually works out and whether it helps him or hurts him. Right now, it definitely looks like a strong roster.
Yeah,
stealing Jones there.
That the defense, the full setup, and we'll take a look at the completed roster here in a minute. But yeah, the defense especially looks particularly loaded, and I think you can really attribute that to coming away with two of the top 5 linebackers, in that same round. That's big doings. So,
right.
Loathed. I don't know that I've got a good answer on that. I mean, the outlier would feel like Tyjae Spears for me in this batch of players. He could be good. I can't say anything definitively bad about him. The one thing that I guess I kind of think about is they keep referring to it, pretty explicitly as a timeshare in Tennessee. So,
right,
hard to get super excited about that. So that would maybe be my one good answer.
Yeah, I don't have an obvious loathe here either. Even Spears, like I feel like it's late enough that it feels like a pretty good pick. Just something about Xavier Worthy I just don't trust. And I base that off of literally nothing besides the fact that there have been 2 receivers that have ever been any good for the Chiefs while Patrick Mahomes has been there. And I don't know that Worthy's going to be the third one. And and that's based on nothing real. It's just gut feeling.
Rookie receivers specifically in Andy Reid's offense have kind of historically all struggled. I mean, you even go back to as an Eagle and Jeremy Maclin, who everyone was super hyped about, and took him a hell of a long time to kind of develop as a player.
Yeah.
And then, just looking recently, you've got your Sky Moores and, there was another exciting rookie not even too long before that, I don't think, that kind of fizzled out. But, it's been a real crapshoot in Andy Reid's offense for wide receiver. So, I mean, if it pans out, the guy run, like a 4.21 40?
Something incredibly stupid like that.
And it sounds like in terms of wide receiver, he's not even a one-trick pony. Like, you'd think a guy that fast is just going to run a 9 route up and down the field all day, but it sounds like his route tree is actually pretty solid. But it's just, is he going to be able to understand the offense and earn a role? So,
right. Yep. But, I may or may not be much this year. Might be a really good long-term move. It just something about Kansas City wide receivers kind of scares me.
Fair.
But, that's pretty light for a loathe.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that's good, though. All right. Let's take a look at the final chunk of picks here. We go Harold Landry, Kyle Duggar, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Dre Greenlaw, Trenton Simpson, Marquise Brown, Chris Jones, Dallas Goedert, Brian Thomas, Jerry Jeudy, and Treylon Burks.
He also had grabbed Alex Van Ginkel. But
I think he had to cut him right away, right?
He immediately had to be cut because he had too many players.
Right.
Because of the trade.
So,
we can pretty much ignore him.
Right.
So, what do you think, Ben? Who do you love?
Who do I love out of this batch? Honestly, I would say I think the Trenton Simpson pick is sneaky good. Yes, he's already got 2 pretty fantastic starting linebackers. What's another linebacker going to do? Well, I think Simpson could be a starting linebacker in Baltimore, which has pretty historically proven to be a good deal. And
Pretty easy to start 3 linebackers in this league.
right. Well, yeah, exactly. You've got 2 IDP flex spots. So Simpson this late felt like really good value. Like I said, he's sliding into a good role right next to Roquan Smith. Patrick Queen did pretty good once Roquan Smith came to town. Really seemed to help his game out. So I think that could bode well for Trenton Simpson. I thought that was good.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I'm going to go a little bit, Brown's homer here. But considering how late in the draft he grabbed him, I like the Jerry Jeudy pick. I don't know for sure what he's going to do in Cleveland, but we know the guy's talented, former first-round pick, all that. Never really lived up to it in Denver, but let's be real about what Denver's been the last couple of years.
That is true.
So, now working as the number 2 with Amari Cooper, also has Njoku helping him out and presumably has the honestly, even if Deshaun Watson gets hurt again, he'll have Jameis Winston throwing him the ball, and receivers tend to do well with Jameis Winston.
He does like
throws 30 touchdowns.
Right.
Even if he also throws 30 interceptions, he throws 30 touchdowns, and that's pretty good for receivers. So,
right.
I feel like that's 22nd round, second to last player he drafted that he actually got to have on his team. Where he took him, I really like the Jeudy pick because I think it could turn into being something really good. Like if you can get a number 2 receiver on an offense that late, you might have something there.
Yeah, how hope has sprung eternal for Javonte Williams. It's definitely been the same for Jerry Jeudy. Maybe it's just something about the shitty Broncos offenses of the last 4 or 5 years. But
they've been so bad the last few years.
The hype clearly has finally fizzled a little bit for Jerry Jeudy that, he took him in damn near the last pick of the draft. So, absolutely. Good value. How about loathe? Is there something you hated?
Let's see. You know what? I'm going to go back to the Kansas City Chiefs receiver. I don't like Hollywood Brown. He's never really... He's never lived up to his draft position. He wasn't great in Baltimore. He wasn't great in Arizona. I've got no reason to believe he's going to be great in Kansas City. He's almost the polar opposite of Jeudy here. Because Jerry Judy's never had a good quarterback thrown to him, whereas Marquise Brown played with Lamar Jackson. Played with Kyler Murray. Now he's going to play with Patrick Mahomes. Granted, Mahomes is a lot better than Murray or Lamar Jackson, but it's not like either of those guys are awful either.
Right. They weren't slouches by any means.
Right. He played on solid offenses with good quarterbacks, and he's just never been that impressive. And I don't really think that's going to change. And frankly, he's going to be competing for touches with Kelsey and Pacheco. And they're going to keep on trying to get in Sky Moore. They're going to keep trying to get the ball to Tony whenever he's healthy. They're going to try to use that little gadget guy. They're going to try to get the ball to Worthy. I don't know that it leaves a lot for Marquise Brown to actually do much.
Right. 4 months ago when we were all convinced that Rashee Rice was going to spend 5 years in jail, then I totally could have gotten behind Hollywood Brown at that point, but
I don't even know what the deal is with Rice at this point.
It feels like that ship has sailed. From what last I heard, they're not expecting anything on the legal front until, very, very late into the year, like December, January. And by that point, they would exercise an appeal and probably get any potential suspension pushed out into next year. So, It sounds like he's going to be in the clear at least for this year, and
that's yet another one. I mean, I'd rattled off 5 guys without mentioning Rice.
Right? Yes.
I don't love that pick. What do you got for a loathe?
Gosh, I'm going to be redundant, and I'm going to go with a linebacker. We got Dre Greenlaw, who popped his Achilles in the Super Bowl. I and especially in the 16th round here, it just felt like a wasted pick. Um, the odds he makes it back to take any snaps, or any meaningful snaps in the regular season just feels pretty far and away to me. So yeah, I feel like you probably could have done something a little bit more for your team on the, a running back, which feels pretty thin on the team at this point.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more solid wide receiver depth. I don't know, but yeah, the Greenlaw one that felt kind of odd at that point.
Fair enough. Well, Ben, what do we got for grades?
What do we got for grades? Well, I don't. Okay, let's pull this guy up. Oh God, don't look. All right,
You're so good at this.
shh. It's very well put together, very very well thought out. Ye old power rankings slideshow. Well, Big Mike is not in 12th place. However, Big Mike is in 11th place. It just, for me, the big takeaway looking at this team, I'll exit out of that. When we take a look at the whole roster, just right up at the top, the quarterback, the running backs, even going down into the offensive flex. And yeah, we could tweak those a little bit, get rid of the two Chiefs, but looking at the bench, there's just not a lot of strong depth. And that makes me feel kind of meh. I love the defense. Like the defense, like we said, it looks elite.
Yeah, but defense looks really good. Well, starting defense at the very least.
Right. But damn, outside and Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Mark Andrews, yeah, those all feel like home run picks. But from there, it just looks pretty grim on the offensive side of the ball to me. So, yeah, that had me feeling not so great. So I put you at 11th. Any other thoughts beyond that, Carl?
That's really all I got. I mean, the starting lineup isn't bad. Like you said, the running backs and the quarterback, not great, but he's got a great starting defense. He's got some power on offense. There's some room to work with this, but I guess here's where that trade comes into play because he doesn't have the full budget to work with to try to improve this team. But I haven't really been doing the rankings, but I don't feel like I can argue with 11.
All right. Thank you. I'll take that as a vote of confidence. I appreciate that.
Take this one while you can get it, because at some point I'm going to be talking about your team, and you're not getting that vote of confidence then.
Fine, be that way.
I will.
All right. So, Big Mike, he went from third in the inaugural season. He finished second against me the year after that. He went to a 7th place finish last year. And right now, it's not trending in the right direction. We have him 11th going into this season. Things can change. There's going to be a little bit of work done, obviously, but that's how it's looking. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, Carl, we'll call this one good. Thank you for your time.
Well, thanks for having me, Ben.
All right. We'll catch you guys later.